Hi and welcome to Driver's Seat. This week we're testing the Nissan Leaf. We're going to do a second video as well to see how difficult it is to live with an electric car. I've not done it before, I've had no instruction how this car works, so we're going to need to figure it out as we go along. So we're going to spend a day today filming in it, so we're going to be out and about, a lot of stop-start, see how that affects the battery. We're going to have a commute into London, park at the train station, get it charged up, and a trip out on a weekend voyage. So let's see how difficult it is. Okay, so opening up's conventional way, but I've got keyless entry here, so I just need to unlock the doors with the keys on my person. Inside, I mean, this looks pretty conventional. I've got my infotainment and ventilation controls. Let's get comfortable. I've got a pump seat and a slide. That's pretty easy. And then my wing mirror controls are electric and on the door. So let's see how this thing starts. Well, there's a button that's been glowing down here at me since I've got in, which is a power button. So I'm going to press the brake and push that. And that's brought the dash to life with a symphony of noise. So I've just got over 100-mile range and a 96% full battery. So that's going to get me 50 miles and back if I'm lucky. So we'll see how that goes. To get going, I've got this sort of mouse arrangement in the middle. So that's got a little diagram here: reverse is up, neutral's across, and drive is back. So I'm going to press the brake, pull that towards me and down. That's now selected drive. Let's see how it goes. Oh, we're off. Okay, so situation report. We've stopped at the services, or I've stopped at the services for some refreshment and replenishment, but I'm not giving the car any. So I've got 46% and about 47 miles left. It's over 30 miles home and it's twisty stuff. So it's going to put this to the challenge. I'm personally not giving it any juice at this point, just to really test it and have that fear of getting back with enough electricity to recharge back at home. So these electric pumps can stay here, and let's see if we make it. So quick update, we're about halfway home. We've done 22 miles so far and we've got 19 left. Range 30 miles, which isn't bad, but we've been stuck behind a very slow horse box for a while, and there's 25% battery, so we've got about 11 miles to play with. It's very twisty again, it's country lanes, so not too fast of speeds, but then there's some A roads as well, so we'll be picking up to 60 odd miles an hour along those. So let's see how we're doing, but so far so good. Okay, major development. Haven't actually gone that far, there's still 19 miles to go, and where all that range has suddenly gone, I don't know. We've just had a warning come up which says we might not make it. So we've got 21 miles left with range and 19 miles to go. Battery percentage is down to 19%, and it's suggesting I now turn off the climate control. I'm not going to yet. Let's see how much further we can go, but where that 5-10 mile buffer went, I've got no idea. We've not gone fast at all, so let's see how we go. Okay, into full energy saving mode now. So I've turned the radio off. I'm going to turn the aircon off as well. That's now off completely. I've got 17 miles range, 14% battery, and 16 miles to go. So this is going to be quite tight. Suddenly my right foot's become a lot lighter. I'm trying not to brake where I can, although there is some regeneration through the brake, so I do it where I can, but try not to lose too much momentum. Yeah, good test this one. Hopefully we'll see you at home in about half an hour and 17 miles time, fingers crossed. So 6.9 miles left. According to this, there's no range. With 9 miles left, it decided to stop telling me that there's any range. I'm doing 40 miles an hour on a 60 mile an hour road to try and save whatever's left. I've got to limp home because there is nothing to charge between here and there. This is the reality of living in the country with an electric car. So everything's off, having to open the window to demist when required, and then closing back up to make it more streamlined. Hopefully not annoying too many cars behind, but this is proper seriously tense now, and I'm just hoping we can limp back all right. So last 5 miles, genuinely limping now, doing under 30 miles an hour just to save whatever's there. Biggest problem is I live on top of a hill, so we've got quite a steep ascent before it levels out the top and then starts to drop back down to where we are. And that ascent's starting now, so it starts pretty gradually and then gets very, very steep. There's no more warnings. The car's pretty much given up on me, which is fair enough. And the range is still dash, dash, dash rather than anything. So 23 miles an hour, properly limping, hoping to get home and laugh about this when I do. And I might need a beer. Now that was properly terrifying. Genuinely didn't know if I was going to make it back or not. That halfway point where I had 10 miles in hand, and then within 2 or 3 miles it just gone. And at one point we dipped below the range against the distance back. Last 10 miles was very, very careful driving, very slow, very inconsiderate to anyone else on the road. So I apologise to anyone caught up in that. And I feel very lucky to get back. So that really puts the fear of electric motoring into reality, and it showed how much that range had been altered by sitting behind a much slower vehicle for only a few miles, 4 or 5 miles. And then once you get back up to national speed limit, the range readjusted and changed dramatically. So I'm home, I'm cold, I've had no heating on for the last half an hour. So I'm going to go warm up, and then we'll get this thing charged and see how easy it is to get it plugged into a domestic socket. Right, let's get the car plugged in and recharged so we can go somewhere tomorrow. Cables are in the boot. I know that I've seen them. There's 2 sets of cables, so we need to know which ones to use. But I need to find where we plug it in. I have seen a fuel filler cap symbol inside, so I'm going to go and press that. There's a noise towards the front of the car, and there we go. So we have a flap at the front, which nicely opens up, and we've got 2 sets of sockets here. So let's go and get those out of the boot and see what goes where. So let's back around to the front of the car. Got our cable, pop that down. Have a quick look at these. So connect, plug. So that goes into the car. By the looks of it, it's the right hand side one. So the one that wasn't covered up is most likely to be a fast charger. I'm sure this will go in. Get it under. There's a little latch you have to get it under, which I clearly can't. Oh, there we go, straight in. So I was putting that in wrong. So actually that's much easier. That clicks in and out very easily. Then according to my instructions, go and plug it in. Doesn't sound too difficult. And the next question is, will it actually stretch? So my car, the closest I can get it to my house is about 10 metres to the front door. Problem, still have a good 3 metres to go. So that means I've got to make sure I've got a waterproof extension cable to come outside, because if it's raining, it's not now, it's damp from fog and things, but there's no way I'll be able to charge it. So if the car won't come to Mohammed, the electricity will come to the car. And this is that's a real issue, because I've got to make sure the weather's clear. You've got to make sure that your power connection is close enough to the house that you can connect to the car. And this really is an exercise to show that I've made no preparation to have an electric car. So is it as easy as just going to pick one up and driving home?
Depends how close your drive is to your front door. I've also got the power cable going through the letterbox, because that's the only way it's going to go inside. So you can have wall boxes. If you've got a garage, it's going to be a lot simpler as well, but middle of the country, no garage, parking spaces a little bit away from the front door, it's an issue. Even more so if you're in a city and you're parking on the street, you can't run an electric cable across a footpath because that's public domain, and there's no way you're going to get away with that. It's not safe. So let's turn it on and see if we're charging. So power's now on. That's showing us that it's charging. Okay, there's no fault. There was a bleep from the car, and on the dash we've got our symbols. So that's blue, which I suppose means charging. See what's happening in the car itself. Got a light showing that it's plugged in and should be charging away. So next step now is to go and swat up overnight, go and read some manuals and approach this from a slightly different angle tomorrow, that we're educated and we know what we're doing. And then we're going to do two more things. One is a commute, so we'll go to the train station, we'll plug it in at the train station and come back to it in the evening and see if everything's in order and working well. And then we'll do another commute where we've gone for a meeting and it's too far away to do a round trip, so we have to plug it in on the way. Now, whether we look at having to go to a fuel station, to a services and have a rapid charge, or whether we can do it at the venue that we get to, we'll decide on the range on the day. And that's really the sort of planning ahead that we need to be thinking about at this point, rather than knowing that we can get home, away and back on one charge. That's going to be a real test of usability in the real world. Sleep well, let's hope this charges, and have a full charge in the morning. Good morning and welcome to a foggy Monday morning. Well, it's been a pretty interesting weekend trying to charge up the Leaf. On Saturday afternoon and evening, got about six hours of charge, which gave it about 29-mile range. Didn't want to leave it plugged in overnight for safety reasons, and equally when we were out Sunday, we obviously then couldn't take this out Sunday, so couldn't leave it on charge either. But when we got back, it got plugged in again. So after a mighty 13 hours, 7 minutes, we've got a 95-mile range and 79% charge. But what we learnt from Friday, that's probably about 85-mile range. So we're going to take it to the station today, plug it into a proper charging point and see how much that makes a difference. Okay, so we've got to Gatwick Airport. We're going to catch the train from here into London. We've come here because I know there's charging points. We just need to connect it up, so I'm going to use my keys to unlock that. This is the second cable, so not the domestic one. That locks in easily enough, and then up to the pod point and straight in. So that's now gone green. My dash buttons are ticking along, so as the buttons light up, that shows how much it's charged. So one button, not very much. If it's got 3 lights on, then it's pretty much fully charged. So let's come back later and see how it does. Back at the Leaf, everything seems to be in order, and we just need to make sure now that it's actually charged. So let's unplug and get going. Success. After 7 hours, we're at 100% and we have a range of 118 miles. So that shows that actually planning ahead and getting charging whilst you're at work, that really does work. It's the final test today, off to Winchester for a meeting. It's 68 miles each way, so we're definitely going to have to recharge when we get there. I've located a fast charging station at Winchester Services, so we will head there after the meeting for a coffee and catch up on notes, and hopefully then get some quick juice into this for our journey back. But on the way, we've got a 104-mile range at 93% capacity, so I'm happy that we can crack on. The car itself encourages you to drive sensibly through encouragement and also enforcement. So on the dash, I've got a little tree that tells me how efficiently I'm driving. If you can see the whole tree,
thumbs up, you're saving power. If not, then you're probably driving a little bit too energetically for an electric car and your range is going to plummet. What it also does is has a very spongy accelerator, so you'll press the accelerator and very little happens. That's really to encourage you not to accelerate hard. If you do want to accelerate hard, then you need to get the pedal well into the carpet, as there's an override button within the accelerator which will then give you everything it's got. There's also a couple of additional modes. There's an eco mode that makes the accelerator feel like you're walking through treacle, and then on the drive select system you've got the automatic mode in drive. There's also a B mode which again really deadens the acceleration response. In B mode you can really feel that regeneration slowing the car down. The Hyundai Ioniq's got a similar system which you can control by paddles, and that's got 3 settings, which is actually very, very impressive. This one's just got the 1 setting, but still you can feel it working, and are quietly confident that it's recharging the battery for you. And that happens 2 ways, either through me braking or using the regeneration that's installed into this car when I come off the accelerator, cruising up to roundabouts, etc. The satellite navigation system has got the ability to search for charging stations, and you can do that whether it's just a normal charging station or whether it's a rapid charge. Car Wings, which is a function that Nissan provides in this car, is an app where you can track your car's progress, how much charge it's got, how much range it's got, rather than having to come out to the car. So we've made it to Winchester. We've got 20% battery left and 19 miles range, and it's 55 miles home, so we needed that supercharge fill up. Got 74 miles to here from 100% battery, and that was driving with every eco mode on, not particularly slowly but under the speed limit, and the car rewarded me with 3 trees, which was nice. And the key thing now is how quickly it can give us enough juice to get that 55-mile home. Well, that took me about 16 minutes to set up. I had to download an app for Ecotricity. I then had to register my details, put a payment through online. Now it's going to take £6 if I have 30 minutes charge. It will only allow me 30 minutes. That's on the rapid charge, so hopefully that's going to be enough. But that was cold, chilly, and it clearly took longer than it would if you're using this car day in, day out. But for the first time, 15, 16 minutes, and then the instructions were very clear. So I'll enjoy my latte and then back on the road. Well, we're done. That was 31 minutes of charging time on the super fast. We're up to 89% capacity with a range of 98 miles. So I've got 55 miles to get home, and that'll do me just nicely. In fact, I hadn't quite finished my coffee by the time this had charged up. That's pretty impressive. You take away that early time, the second, third time you'll use it, and it'll be a much more fluid process. So big tick in the box there. Well, that brings to an end our time with an electric car. So the answer to the question, can you just pick up an electric car and take it home? Yes, you can. Should you? No, you shouldn't. Really plan ahead if you want one of these. Make sure you've got the infrastructure at home to charge. Make sure that you've got something at work, whether that's a better charging solution as well for you. And look into the rapid chargers. They work so well and really only took the time for a cup of coffee. If that doesn't work for you, then the technology is not quite caught up to your lifestyle. But these things can be really rewarding, and you know you're doing your bit. Thanks for watching Driver Seat today. We hope you enjoyed what you saw. Remember to subscribe to our channels for free, and on the Nissan Leaf, check out the review that we did, which is up in this top right-hand corner.